Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek. We're here for meeting 3 of the championship. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is Peter Mackay, Sam Kumo operating the cameras live on Apex Racing TV. And Peter, we visit a very unusual circuit. This place is a proper hybrid street circuit and purpose-built circuit. It's one of the Giants' favourites, it's one of my favourites, and it should be another very good test for these drivers out here for the 3rd meeting of the season.
It certainly will. I mean, you know, Montreal is a fantastic circuit, now known as the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, named after the great Gilles Villeneuve, who sadly passed away in 1982 at the Belgian Grand Prix. But he loved a street circuit. In fact, half of his Grand Prix wins were on these types of circuits. So it's going to be a real cracker, and the drivers are going to have to really take it quite patiently, because if you rub those walls, you're going to get yourself in big trouble. And of course, probably our fastest driver so far, Alexei Nezov, he's going to have to start the first race from the pit lane with a post-race penalty. So he'll need to be very careful picking his way through the field.
at the moment, in qualifying, the drivers are currently in qualifying. You can see they're all out on circuit, got 10 minutes to set as many laps as they'd like. They can set up to 99 laps should they wish. Got a slightly mixed up grid, and it's mixed up just because, as you say, Peter, Alexei Nesov, who has won 3 of the 4 meetings so far this season and has got a comfortable championship lead, is not going to be qualifying at all. So at the moment, it is the German Austin Powers. It is Matthias Beer on pole position. Do you recall how Matthias did in the GT4 Championship around this place, Peter? Because I think that was the race that coined his now legendary nickname.
Well, I think it was kind of straight away because he had a BMW art car, if you like, livery, which we thought was incredibly groovy, and it kind of it did look a little bit like Austin Powers' apartment. So that was where we thought that with Matthias' very jazzy paint scheme, we would call him the German Austin Powers, and he liked the name, and so did we, and so it stuck.
There's quite a few Germans out on circuit. There's about 8 of them or so, and one of them is now taken pole position. It's Sven Newman for Core Sim Racing. Core, who have been kind of second best so far this season, but have been raking in the top 10s so far, constantly possessing kind of those 4th to 10th positions, and this is a great opportunity for them to get their first race win of the championship. Newman currently on an out lap at the moment, I believe, and going to try to set a better lap in the near future. Daniel Lee in 3rd position and Matteo Fulini in 4th position. We should just give a shout out to our sponsor, Colbek, who have been who have come on board for this season 4 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. And Colbek is an IT reseller with over 30 years in the business, working with IT managers in the UK to find savings on Microsoft 365, Altaro, ESET, Google Workspace, and many others. And so if you're looking to get better deals on anything that runs your IT, then do go to colbek.co.uk/iRacing, and on there you can vote for your driver of the day. Whoever it is, you can vote for them. So far we've had quite a bit of engagement with that, so yeah, go and check out colbek.co.uk/iRacing, and you can put your own vote in the ballot there.
Yeah, and of course we had last week Tom Brown winning it, and I have to say, Sam, I was that restored my faith in democracy. Tom Brown winning the driver of the day last week, because it was absolutely superb. As he told us, he's not been on iRacing very long, although has some real world racing experience, and made an absolute bullet start from 3rd on the grid in the feature race. Got into the lead and was under really a lot of pressure throughout the entire race, but never blinked and got his race win. So I think he was thoroughly deserving of that driver of the day title.
Definitely. So yeah, he drove a brilliant second race, didn't he? Under a lot of pressure throughout, but to hold on for 40 minutes is not an easy job whatsoever. Really did not miss an apex for that entire race too. Currently he's second on the grid. It's James Crouch who managed to get, I think, 2nd on the grid last time out, as Newman now goes to the top. In fact, did Crouch get pole position last time out even? He's backing that up, but Newman with 1/4 of a second spare. The checker flag is out. The drivers aren't allowed to complete that lap time. And so we have got our grid up. Alexei Nesov, remember, starting from the pit lane in this race 1. That's good of 21 cars for race 2, but this race 1 is promising to be a very exciting one. Sven Newman then lines up on pole position, James Crouch in 2nd place, Tom Brown in 3rd, and Matthias Beer with a very good qualifying in 4th. Gonzalo Cortez lines up in 5th, and it's Danny Lee, Matteo Fulini, Max Riedmuller, Chris van der Nesse, Dori Rikuti, Make Paluch, Matty Chambers lines up in 12th, Steve Burke, much better qualifying for Burke. He's had brilliant race pace so far this season. He lands up in 13th. Then Scott Rister, who has been lightning in practice this season, but can never seem to put it up there on the grid, but he has done today. Max Fitz lines up in 15th. Then it is Brian Kroon, Nasser Busharad, Dara Adjinsons, Tom Bingham, Stephen Broomfield, Ronald Grossmans, Dominic Engel, Scott Kimbrow, David Gowrie in 24th, Kevin Kittelman, amateur championship leader. Then it's Tom Collins making his debut, Fabian Elfers, Marco Tolman, Jan Kerneth, Brent Cook, Andrew Collins-Reed, Lockie Brown, EJ Nixon, Dirk Holland, Edon Polovina, Dave Chadwick in 36th, and then is Aaron Herbert. Then all the drivers who are starting from the pits, I think Nicholas Laubish, Alexei Nesov, Dean Powell, Denny Piazza, Chris Prescott, Anton Gal-Metzer, and Daniel Sykes. That's a very competitive starting from the pit lane order right there for these 44 drivers. Peter, really awkward start around this circuit. That chicane is single file, and with such a long field and with the green flag coming out so early, there's a lot of give and take for these drivers further down the order as they negotiate that chicane on this race start.
Yes, they'll have to be super careful, will the drivers, and of course a very, very short parade behind the Ford Mustang pace car, because these cars, they do not have any anti-lock brakes. So when the tyres are cold and the brakes are cold, lockups are quite common, so the drivers will have to be really, really careful about that when running it close in the pack. But a nice spread of manufacturers, Corvettes, Ferraris, there's the odd Porsche in there as well, so it's a really, really nice balance of cars there too, and it's going to be a cracker, I'm sure, as opening sprint here at Montreal.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity for the top two to get their first race wins of the season. Newman holds on a little bit. He's going to wait for the rest of the order to grid up, and that's quite good to see, albeit it could cause a concertina further back. The green flag is now out, and we are away racing for 25 minutes of action for race 5 of the season in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Straight away, Crouch is trying to go for the lead, hanging around the outside to have the inside for turn 2. So looking like it's going to be upper hand though for Newman, who leaves plenty of room on the inside. We've got a couple of cars off further down the order. That's Chris Van Nette and Tori Rakuti. And in fact, Crouch was able to take the lead. We'll maybe get a replay of that later on as Rakuti with a spin as well. But it is Crouch leading Brown, Newman and Beer, the two Brits leading the way at the moment, and that is just the start that Crouch needed. And well, I imagine he'll be quite pleased that Brown managed to get past as well. And EBS are the defending teams champions, looking for their first race win of the season now.
Absolutely, and of course we've got a Ferrari 1, 2, and then Matthias Beer in 4th, so brilliant start for the Ferrari 488 GTE machine, that twin turbo V8 in the middle of that Ferrari, singing away nicely here on the streets of Montreal. We see Matthias Beer having just a little look up the inside of Sven Newman in the Corvette, and fantastic start from Cortez, of course, runner-up last time out at Interlagos, and start qualified out of the top 10, and we got a little bit of a mess at the hairpin. Be careful. The Porsche turn round there. A little bit of bumps and bashes in there. That's Brent Cook. And he's going to get stuck behind the wall here as well. Dear me, not a great start at all for him. We go over the line to complete lap 1. We've got quite a busy YouTube chat tonight, Sam, and you know you and I like to keep engaged with those viewing. Tom McMahon has got a roast in the oven, and Mark Hutchison is having a few tins of lager. That sounds like a super Sunday. ARLGT, lager, and a roast. Business.
Absolutely. Of course, Tom not brave enough to be out here himself to defend his championship, so that's my roast to him. Right there for something. I just couldn't. I love as you learned on Friday. I really like arguing with people on the YouTube chat. Daniel Lee is chasing down Cortez at the moment. These guys still staying close, but Tesbid almost managed to get past Newman on that last lap, but wasn't able to quite get it stuck. By the way, welcome to anyone who's watching on Twitch. I hear it is the new platform that the young folk are using nowadays. And we will be broadcasting all of our Apex Racing TV events on Twitch henceforth. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to watch on Twitch instead, then do check that out. Apparently not all of them, but at least this series, and most of our ARL series will be broadcast on Twitch from now on. There was a little bit going on down at the hairpin, and you can see the amount of damage on the Van der Nesse's car, or Collins Reed car. They're all battling with one another. That's going to be compromising your straight line speed. It's getting very messy here. Down the inside goes the Corvette, and that's going to be a big slowdown there for Maximilian Chris.
Yeah, not ideal start to the race there. Of course, that final chicane really difficult to negotiate, and you don't need to step over the line much at all. Now, Lockie Brown running in a BMW M8, so has he made if my memory serves me, Sam, he began the season in a Porsche, did he not?
Who was that, say?
Lockie Brown, or are mid-season switches possible?
You get a 50-point penalty for a mid-season switch, albeit I haven't marked that down on the sheet, so I'm not quite sure on that one, but if that is a change, yes, you will be getting a little bit of a penalty. It can be worth doing so, though, in the early part of the season, albeit, of course, the new iRacing season is coming up, new VAP, so you risk changing and then having to change back if the car gets a little bit of a downgrade.
Well, let's hope maybe he's got some inside information that the BMW is going to be a rocket again after the iRacing season changes over. Perhaps not, but maybe just enjoys driving the big BMW a bit more. Either that, or my memory definitely is not serving me. Now, another fantastic one here on the YouTube chat, Sam, from Kev Copeland, who says, and of course it is the 14th of February, it's Valentine's Day. Me and my missus are enjoying the stream with a bottle of wine, a romantic Valentine's night. Well, Mrs. Copeland, or Miss Copeland, or other half of Kev Copeland, she's a patient lady.
She is. Kev is quite a slow driver, so to get anywhere must be must take a while. Yes, hopefully Kev is well.
Oh no!
Cortez Beer isn't well. He was up into third position there, but he has collided with Cortez. Cortez, just wait, mate. Just wait. Reverse. Yeah, nice one. And then go. Fulini's up into, Lee's up into third, so Lee's gone up about 7 places. So Beer had previously got past Newman. We'll try to get a replay of what happened to Newman as well. And this is a bad mistake here for Mateus Beer, completely by himself. Oh, and then it was mega unlucky for Cortez. Good job from Lee to be able to avoid that. And Fulini just picked up all the pieces from there. But yeah, I wonder if we could see what happened to Newman, because I think Newman got overtaken and then he got a slowdown, I think. So Newman literally went down from 3rd to 8th in a few corners. Fortunately for him, he's back up into 6th position. So yeah, he'd already got the slowdown by this point then behind Daniel Lee. And massive shame for Newman, and he's still serving it. That's how big the slowdowns are at Montreal. If you cut the chicane or cut turn 1, that's going to be 3 seconds that you lose, compared to other slowdowns, which is maybe a second to 2 seconds. So it is real painful around this circuit. You cannot afford to pick them up.
No, you cannot. No, definitely not. Especially in this series where we've got a lot of drivers on a very similar pace, as we can see. But I tell you what, this has been a drive from James Crouch and from Tom Brown leading the, and I have to say, Sam, it has been quite some time since we've seen Ferraris running up the front of the GTE class here on iRacing. They've not quite been the preferred choice for quite a while. They've just not had the BOP setting, not been quite the fastest. I remember Le Mans last year, they were very much the preferred car, but have kind of gone out of favour since then. And Ronald Grossman's off as well in the Corvette. Oh dear me. Well, at least he'll be able to taste some of his new tasty sauces after the race.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know who Jay Wilkinson is by any chance?
I do not.
The comedian. Oh, okay. No, he just does a funny. I'll send you a link later on.
Is it to do with Lloyd Grossman?
It's to do with Lloyd Grossman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Steve Burke is, I'm sure I know, I feel like Steve Burke likes Lord Grossman's curry sauce. He's battling in that Team Lizard Motorsports car, been very good so far this season. Burke was a bit unlucky at Interlagos last time out, could have been a big points haul, could have maybe even taken the lead in the Amateur Championship. He's got a bit of catching up to do, but that's what he's doing at the moment. Dara Adriansons as well, up there in 10th place. He won the Amateur category last time out at Interlagos in race 2, and quite a bit ahead of his brother. Jensen Adriansson. Gosh, I feel bad, I forgot Jensen's name. Quite a bit ahead of his brother. So these two guys really pushing above their weight. Two debutants for the series, and they're really staking their claim on this amateur championship.
They really are, and I have to say, I always enjoy writing the race reports for ARL GT, but writing up the plural of Adriansons is it's not ideal.
Oh, this is a key, and that is someone glitching out. Yes, they are, and everyone's squirming. They don't know where he is. That's Rikuti. He starts on the pits, I think, and he's reappeared. They're going to be losing each other a lot of time. There's a move that's not going to work. It has worked. That's a move of the season from Alexei Nesov, up into 29th position. How on earth did he get that one stuff? He's now got Le Holland. I wonder if he'll just dive down the inside here. Oh, he nearly got hit by Rikuti. Rikuti's come back. Well, two of the moves of the season right there. That's not a move of the season. Oh, that's painful. That's Lloyd Grossman and Piazza coming together, that's more time lost and damage.
So I'm going to take one for the team here, Sam, and I'm going to fall on my sword and ask, what is the reverse grid number for race 2? What position does Nezov need to get into to catch the reverse grid?
He needs to get 21st position to get the reverse grid. It's the biggest reverse grid of the season. It can be anything from 14 to 28 positions, so it is bang in the middle. So at the moment, Kevin Kitzman, as he is very good at doing, starting on reverse grid pole, but they are coming, the chasing pack. Vandenesse will be dangerous. He had a spin earlier on. Polo Venus quick. Lucky Brown's not slow. Kerneth and Tolman probably not so much of a threat, but then certainly Rikuti and Nessel currently 29th and 30th could get reverse grid pole, especially if we keep up this high attrition rate we've got.
Indeed, yeah. But it's always to be expected at Montreal, that high rate of attrition. But we're riding on board with Alexei Nezov trying to make his way through the field. He does have work to do in 15 minutes to make up 9 positions to try and get into the reverse grid number, which is going to be really important. Don't forget, folks, he did start from pit lane, so he's already made up some good space already. Now that was a bit of a domino effect, wasn't it there? Nezov nipped the back of Rikuchi and tipped around the car in front. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't catch who that was.
Chadwick was the driver who was tapped to. And this is getting a bit personal, I think, now between these two, because they've been battling for a while, and that's more contact and more contact. And guys, what's the point when you're making up places to take yourselves out? Because these are two of the fastest drivers in the league, and they've just crashed into one another when really they should have been making their way up through the order. So Rikutsi's going to have a dreadful starting place for the next race. Vista, who was one of the front-running amateur drivers, he's had a very disappointing season. I always see him up in the top 10 when in practice, and has been struggling to deliver that pace in qualifying, which puts him in the mess come the race. And that's a little bit of a spin point. I'm still in 4th position in the amateurs, but that was aggressive, and from Rikutsi and Nesov there, Peter. Would have been very much worth them just waiting behind one another and picking up the places together.
Yeah, I think you called it perfectly there, Sam, just before saying it was getting a little bit personal. I think it was. I think there was a lot of, things going on that might not have happened. They were kind of compounding each other, just one thing after another. And I think Alexei Nezov would have taken a reasonable amount of damage. The car looks okay, but there's bound to be little bits and pieces of damage that'll be holding him back a little. But we'll see if Alexei Nezov can get into that reverse grid spot. He certainly made that job a heck of a lot harder. As Brian Crone is off in the Corvette, the very shiny Indy Autosport Corvette. So let's see what's happened here. Going down into the Senna S's, turn 1. Goes past his teammate with ease. Hard on the brakes. Oh, and the car blink. Oh, I do apologize. That might be my feed, but my car just blinked there, Sam. I don't know if you saw what happened.
Yeah, he kind of just dipped a wheel onto the grass coming out of 1, and then didn't have much control for 2. Didn't lose as much time as I thought he had done initially. He's still in 16th place, probably lost about 8 seconds right there. Yep. Yeah, he genuinely lost 8 seconds, I think. But, yeah, 7 or 8 seconds he lost according to his sector time, so not too costly there for Kroon, the pro driver, albeit trying to get up. Oh, yes, that's made more contact here. Well, I don't think that one was his fault, to be fair. I think that was a racing incident. But here comes B. He's still defending, and Nesov needs to drive with his head. We saw him regret some of the moves he made at Interlagos, and he needs to think back to that regret right now and just be a bit patient, because he's not going to get within the reverse grid, it looks like. What he doesn't want to do is pick up another pit lane start for the next event. The way he is just waiting behind. Big move from Piazza in the background to get past Prescott.
Well, of course, Matthias Beer, the German Austin Powers, he's probably saying to Alexei Nezov there, saying, look, I didn't back down to Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, so I'm not going to back down to you, sir.
I feel like Alexei Nezov, that name could be another villain, to be fair. You keep...
Dr. Evil.
Yeah,
that's a bit unfair. Poor Alexei.
I'm sorry, Alexei. I think he's the villain to many of these drivers, because it is so darn difficult to beat him. He has, of course, won every race so far this season, besides race 2 at Interlagos. Let's say, yeah, giving other drivers an opportunity here. Well, it's clear that it shows how quick Nesov is, because Beer was running in a legit 3rd place earlier on, and Nesov's hounding him. Down the inside he goes. Beer can't defend that one. Could get a good run here out of this one, but I think it would be best for Beer to wait in behind here and try to catch up to some more drivers. He's not listening to me. He's going to try to come back now around the outside, but can't go too wide here.
No, but I think Nezov might have just stepped over the track limit there. Yeah, yes, he has. I think he stepped out a little bit. I think he's having to serve a slowdown penalty. He's trying to do it. Yep, there he goes. But he's going to have to be I think he's trying to be very, very clever about it and actually scrub the speed off, perhaps. Maybe not, but if he is serving a slowdown penalty, it's the best slowdown penalty I've ever seen served, so possibly not. But anyway, here comes Matthias Beer in the draft, in the Ferrari. Through he goes, and he's got a fantastic run on Nezov. Now, Nezov, will he have learned his lesson? No. Decides to go back through again, and Matthias very cleverly decides to let him go.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get a replay of what happened to Fulini, because Fulini was up into, was he up into 3rd position? I think he was in 3rd position at one point, Fulini. Oh, here we go. So this is Fulini, I think, picking up a slowdown, and he's given up the position to both Lee and Rubin. So it's now a British 1, 2, 3, which earlier on in the season there weren't any Brits in the top 10, let alone in the podiums. And now that it's the British domination in Canada. Yeah, Crouch, Brown and Lee now in that top 3, really down into 5th place, but still good points for him at the moment. Newman, who of course starts from pole position in 6th, that slowdown really did hurt him. Other good battles, Paluch keeping behind Matty Chambers at the moment. Steve Burke at the back of this one, but one of the smartest drivers out on circuit, lots of World GT experience, and so he knows how to get the results in and avoid problems, and so he's done a good job at avoiding any in this race. And then we've got Broomfield chasing down his teammate. Broomfield driving for Centurion Racing Team. Up 9 places is Broomfield. Up 26 places is Nicholas Laubisch, the highest gainer of anyone. So great drive from Laubisch so far. and he's well in the reverse grid places. He's just hit the wall though.
Yeah, he's been a really good climb up the field from Laubish in the Porsche 911 RSR for Urano Esports. It's a wonderful sounding car, that 4-litre engine mounted just in the middle of the car, not a rear engine car like every other racing 911 is, but there it goes. Laubish up the inside, claims another spot, so wall contact or not, he's not letting it hold him back, up to 11th spot, so we'll get a decent look at a win in race 2, I think, Sam.
Yeah, of course he was really close at Phillip Island. I don't think he was around at Interlagos last week, but got a third and a second at Phillip Island, and really kind of even pace with his Urano Esports teammates. Nesov out there, so yeah, certainly one of the favourites. Galmetza battling with Pal now. Pal's done a good job. He's started pretty much all the races this season from the pits, and he's going to start pretty much all the rest of the season from the pits because he's got so many licence points. But we know Dean is a very good driver. That was just one incident which he got a few licence points for, and then didn't serve it correctly last week. But he's wearing them off, and he's still getting some good results out of it in 28th position at the moment, joined by our title sponsor Colbek. He's got Beer and Nesov further ahead. And at the moment, reverse grid place would be Chris van der Nesse now. Kittelman's still up in 20th position. Van der Nesse would be reverse grid pole, so he would be very dangerous if he started from pole position, Pete, because Van der Nesse, I think, started up in 9th position on the grid, so he's well out of place.
Yeah, he is absolutely. Is Van der Nesse. Oh dear, a little bit of a look up the inside there from Kittelman? Yes, it was, yeah, Kevin Kittelman in the 219 Porsche 911 RSR, so it's Porsche versus Porsche. And Kittelman got a little bit of rear wing damage there as well. Maybe a little rub with the wall caused that, perhaps. But tell you what, despite that little tangle, Alexei Nezov is still making progress through the field, and with 5 minutes to go, there is an outside chance that there is an outside chance that he might be able to get to this 21st position, but it will be a tall order indeed to be able to do that. But as we've seen, don't underestimate this man at your peril.
Yeah, Beer also getting through. He's got 6 seconds to catch up, does Nesov, to get onto the back of Polovina. And he's got about 4 more laps. Yeah, it'll be close, won't it? Polovina's no slouch for T3 Esports, although he was about 1.5 seconds slower than Nesov on that last lap. Obviously, I mean, he needs to pass a few more cars than that, to be fair, does Alexei, but Polovina certainly first up there. You can see the hemorrhaging of that gap. Yeah, Kittelman now in reverse grid position, but Tom Collins is right on his tail, and so that one could still change. He's dropped off a little bit actually now, 1.3 seconds. So Collins in his first ever Apex Racing League event could start race 2 on pole position. That would be pretty cool. But he's got some work to do for Team Lizard Motorsport. There's a big queue now behind Matty Chambers. Chambers was on the back of Palach, but now Newman and Burke, Laubish and Adriansons are onto the back of him. And Burke's got to be careful here of Laubish because, of course, he's been racing through the order. I think Laubish could get all 3 of these by the end of the race. He's that quick.
Oh, he has been remarkably impressive as Laubish, and he's actually definitely been the slightly tidier, slightly cleaner of the 2 Urano Esports cars. We've seen Alexei Nezov be incredibly fast, but absolutely uncompromising in his overtaking, etc. So we'll see how Laubish decides to play this one with just a few laps to go. But you know that any move that he will make, it will be a pretty considered move. There isn't usually too many kind of sloppy, half-hearted efforts from Laubish. Not normally.
Yeah, that could be what his championship is built on, as long as he can do more of the rounds. Only 1 drop round in this championship, so the fact that he missed Interlagos will mean has put quite a bit of pressure on him. But more performances like this, and he could be near the top when it comes to the end of the season. Reminder, because of our sponsor for this championship, Colbek, an IT reseller. You should certainly check out colbek.co.uk. There is prize money for the top positions in both the professional and the amateur races and championships. And for the pro win, I think you get £12, and for the amateur win, I think you get £6. So these drivers are raising for a little bit, and that's for every one of the 24 races this season. That stacks up quite a bit. Nestle's nearly earned back his entire entry fee already with all his race wins. And I think a few of these other guys will be getting close to that by the end of the season as well. So it certainly is worth for these drivers to try that, but certainly the points and the prestige, what they're mainly going for. We've got 2 more laps to go then. And still Crouch, Brown, Lee. Riedmüller a little bit slow there. Apologies, no, that was a back marker. Riedmüller still in 4th position, doing fine. But I think that main battle is still behind Steve Burke, with Laubisch trying to make his way past the amateur race leader.
Indeed, you have to say that 5 Stars Motorsport Corvette looks absolutely fantastic. Great job. Oh, by the helmet painter. Goodness me, Nicholas Laubisch puts a wheel onto the grass in the braking zone. And look at this, Adriansons is going to sling it around the outside, sorry. Adriansons, of course, is trying to catch up with Burke, who is the AM-class leader right now. Went straight ahead in that BMW M8. In fact, one of the leading BMW drivers is Steve Burke, so doing a great job indeed. Adrianson smells a little bit of blood here, and he's going to go for this one and try and get the AM-class win. And Laubisch, he's going to be on a little bit of a recovery job now. You can tell he's pushing, nearly runs into the back of Adrianson's there on the brakes.
Yeah, he'll be kicking himself for that one, Nicholas, because he's just made this one a bit more tricky for him. He could still get these 2 on the final lap, but it'll probably just be limited to the one. He's not even that close at the moment. Adair Adriansons could be in for back-to-back amateur race wins here after winning at Interlagos. So just got one more move to make with Burke, and showing how aggressive he was against Laubisch. I feel like he may well be willing to go for a risky move if it means taking that race win. Still Chambers holding off Newman a little bit further ahead, albeit it is close between the 2 of them. Adjanson's hounding Burke. There's Chambers. He's had to do quite a bit of defending in this race. Oh, there goes the move from Newman, who has reignited late in this race. He was really struggling in the early stages as it's kicking off just behind Laubisch. Oh, that's Burke going wide. He's collided with Laubisch, but Adjansons couldn't really profit from it. Here he goes now. Will he be willing to make it through wide? There's no space though, and he's not got the run regardless. Laubisch almost colliding with Burke again. You can't go around the outside there. And so it'll be the race to the hairpin. We've got an off as well for back market, so they don't gain anything. I thought Burke might be joining him off the circuit right there. He's still defending. We will have to appeal to our race leader pretty soon. Oh, and look at the move from Broomfield. He's come out of nowhere. But past goes Laubisch as well, and Broomfield might be able to get Burke as well here for a top 10. But out of the lead, it is James Crouch who's going to get his first Apex Racing League GT Championship win of the season. It's his 3rd race win of his Apex Racing League career. He beats Brown and Lee. Behind then, Laubisch with a couple of great moves. Burke is going to hold on for the amateur race win, I think. It's a very good performance from Steve Burke to finish in 10th place. Adjansons just boltering near the end there in 12th. Van der Nesse, don't collide guys, it's not worth it. This is for reverse grid pole. Kitzelman is going to finish in reverse grid pole. Van der Nesse beats him to the line, and it's Tom Collins on his debut who misses out just. Nessel did get past Polovina, but that was it. And he remains in 24th position, and crucially outside of those reverse grid places. Powell leads home quite a train behind him on the run to the line. Quite a quiet race up at the front there, Peter. I mean, Crouch locked that one out. You know, that's only his 3rd race win in Apex Racing League GT, albeit only in his 2nd season. But he made that one look easy.
Yeah, and it certainly won't have been at the cockpit there for James Crouch. Tom Brown chasing him all the way in his Ferrari, and a 1-2 for Ferrari. We haven't said that on the streets of Montreal for quite some time, have we, Sam? In virtual or real world, particularly in the real world.
Absolutely. Yep, as the session progresses, and we should be able to take you through your final finishing order for this race 1. And here's James Crouch, who wins out 1.5 seconds clear of Tom Brown. Then it was Danny Lee, Max Riedmuller, Matteo Fulini, Mick Paluch, Matty Chambers, Sven Newman, Nicholas Laubich, and of course the amateur winner, Steve Burke. Then it was Steven Broomfield, Dara Adriansons, Nasser Busharad, very much under the radar there, Busharad, but once again will be starting near the front in race 2 as he did at Interlagos. Tom Bingham also under the radar in 14th. Then it's Dominic Engel, Brian Kroon, Scott Vista, Scott Kimbrow, Fabian Elfers, Chris van der Nesse in 20th place. Kevin Kittelman was 21st. Then was Tom Collins, Marco Tolman, Alexei Nesov, Edon Polovina, Dean Powell, Denny Piazza, Anton Galmetzer, Derek Holland, Matthias Beer, who was up in the 3rd position at one point, Chris Prescott, Jan Kernath, Ronald Grossman, Dori Vakuti, Lockie Brown, Brent Cook, Aaron Herbert, Dave Chadwick, Daniel Sykes, David Gowrie, Gonzalo Cortez, Andrew Collins-Reed, EJ Nixon, and Maximilian Fritz. Running out these 44 cars. In fact, only one driver did not finish. That is what we like to see out there. We want to see the drivers actually make an effort to finish. You got a fast pair, no excuses not to finish. So nice work from the guys right there. Peter, for this race 2, how do you assess the overtaking possibilities? Do we think maybe we're going to have some of the guys starting from the front pulling away, or do you think that it's really kind of open to anyone, even including James Crouch, who'll be starting in 21st?
Yeah, I think my eye is on Nicholas Laubich, who will start from just outside the top 10, and he proved that he's got a lot of pace underneath that car, so I think we'll really have to watch for him. He's my pick to come through the pack and win this feature race. But of course, with it being the feature race, a little bit longer, 40 minutes, so the drivers don't have to be in quite so much of a rush, but try telling them that.
Definitely. Also, a quick shout out to one of our sponsors for this broadcast and for this championship, Apex Racing Academy. Apex Racing Academy providing 29 data packs, which include setups and driving tutorials, commentated laps to really pick up on all the breaking points and driving lines for every single one of the circuits that the official series visits. And you can get the 29 data packs covers rallycross cars and GTs, single seaters and prototypes. Pretty much everything on the iRacing service is covered on Apex Racing Academy, and you can get yourself either a bronze membership, which will get you access to just one car if you want to focus on one thing, or a silver membership, which is just I believe $10 or £10 a month. You can get access to all 29 data packs, which is pretty cool. A gold one as well gets you access to all sorts of stuff, so you'd certainly check that one out as well. But Apex Racing Academy, certainly do check them out at apexracingac.com. Just got a minute and a half left of warm-up. We've also got a much later time of day now, and I wonder if we could get the track conditions up on screen. It's 5 in the evening now, and you can see 22 degrees track temperature, so quite a bit nicer conditions for these drivers. They should be able to get a bit more grip out there, and they should be that much faster as well. It'll be last week, I think, when we discussed with the drivers, Peter, no one really made any setup changes between race 1 and race 2, which I was surprised about, because 10 degrees track temperature on iRacing can make the world of difference, and it can make the cars feel quite different, especially around a circuit like Montreal, where it's very easy to pick up oversteer around some of these slow speed corners.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only thing I would say is that you've got to really know what you're doing to make those adjustments from race to race, and of course how on a different track as well from the previous week. most iRacers, I would imagine, will, they'll have a setup which they've done a lot of practice in, and probably across a variety of conditions. And I would think, as long as unless they're unhappy with the way the car's feeling, I would suspect, certainly if it was myself, I would quite like to just stick with the car the way it is and just try and feel the difference in the grip. But there will be drivers at the very sharp end of the grid who do have that knowledge of how these cars work and what makes them tick, and will just know what those little tweaks can be to get that little bit of extra pace. So it'd be interesting to see if we see anyone show a bit more than they did in race 1.
Absolutely, yeah. There could well be a slight change to the pecking order, maybe some cars coming into their own. So the feature race then, we won't go through all the grid, but we'll just maybe talk through the top 10. Kevin Kitzman, he's really good at that, Kevin Kitzman. He's always at the front when it comes to reverse, because I remember the days a couple of seasons ago when he'd always just miss out, but he's improved quite a bit, and he's been able to go from outside the reverse grid to inside, and it does make the world of difference. The amateur championship leader lines up on pole position. Chris Van der Nesse, very dangerous, maybe my pick for this race too, starting in second. Then it's Fabian Elfers, Scott Kimbrough, Scott Rister, Brian Kroon, Dominic Engel, Tom Bingen, Nasser Busherad, and Dara Adjenson's rounding out the top 10. The rest of the order will cycle through for you now, because I've got about a minute of cruising up remaining. Alexei Nesov has certainly been the focus so far this season, Peter, at least when he's not been out in the lead, pulling away from everyone else. That got a bit dull at Phillip Island. But we know that he's going to make, we're going to see him quite a bit in this race. How far up do you think he can get in order to salvage some championship points?
Well, I think that's going to be the big story of this race as well, to see how much good Alexei Nezov can do from he'll start from well outside the top 20. I think it's going to be more about not getting involved in some of the silly incidents that we saw in race 1, but that is very much easier said than done.
Yeah, hopefully he does stay out of that, and hopefully we get just as good a start as we had in race 1. In race 1, we saw the pole sitter Sven Newman go very late. Kittelman's decision when to go. He could go now, or he could hold up. He's holding a little bit, but he does go much earlier than what Newman did, and that gives him a big gap across the line. We are racing for the 6th race of the Apex Racing League GT Championship Season 4. And it's Kisselman leading the way from Van der Nesse. Good start for Kim Brown to move up. Elfers dropping down a couple of places immediately, and also having a bit of a spin, I think was Newman, and also Elfers. Oh, and they spin round as well, and that's going to almost be in the middle of the circuit. And we've got more cars round as well, and we've got a pile up here as the drivers pile on in. They're going to have to use their safety, their faster pair in a moment. It's very reminiscent of what we saw in the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship the other day. The drivers trying to get back going, but to be fair, the drivers right at the back of the order did a good job just to slow down a bit there and avoid making the situation worse. But that has wrecked a lot of drivers' faces right there.
Yeah, it has, and one of which was Nicholas Laubisch. So actually, Urano Esports, who maybe would have thought that Nicholas Laubisch would have been their best chance of a race win in this feature here at Montreal. In fact, Alexei Nezov, it's actually played beautifully into his hands. Looks like he's got a reasonably clean race car there, maybe a little bit of rear damage, but not too much, I don't think. And yeah, he's up into 14th place already, so he's made up around 10 spots. And he's in with the leading group as well. So watch now for Nezov. He's going to be the danger man in that 139 Porsche.
Yeah, he could be really dangerous from here. Certainly the race win possibly there for Nezov to take, with this second race being quite as long as it is. Real bad start for Kevin Kitzman. He's down into 12th place. He was leading through the first few corners. So we'll try to get a replay of that one. I don't think he was involved in anything that the pile-up was to do with. He's just had his own issue, as Kevin Kitzman, so that is a huge shame for him. As we get it's all by himself, cold tyres probably. Kevin will be kicking himself for that. He very rarely makes mistakes. He's one of the most consistent drivers, does do a good rejoin, and he was probably a big beneficiary of the fact that half the field got wiped out in that second corner. And so he didn't lose too many places, but yeah, 12th place now for Kitzman, and that's a shame, because that was an amateur race win for the taking.
It was indeed, yeah, and of course it's a bit of a boneyard appearing in the pit lane at the moment, with cars being towed back after that big wreck on lap 1. But of course the drivers do have a fast repair, so once they do get to pit lane, they can take that back repair and get back out on circuit with a 100% ready to go race car. So we'll see from those who emerge from pit lane what sort of damage limitation they can do over the next 40 minutes or so. But Kevin Kindelman just been passed there by Alexei Nezov, who moves up into 13th position. So quite a good reference marker. If you can try and follow Alexei for a few laps, it'll be quite good. Now, Matthias Beer was not so lucky. Oh, and he's not been lucky again. He's been given a big old help there from, now who was that? I think was that Piazza in the Porsche, I think it was. It was Aaron Herbert, just giving Matthias Beer a bit of a nudge there. But yeah, so he got through the wreckage cleanly. However, he'd had to basically park behind the wreckage and wait for it to clear before he could move through, and that's lost him a lot of time.
Yeah, maybe when these battles kind of settles down, we might try to get a bit of a replay and see who gets the award for the best car preservation when it comes to that, because some drivers just went full throttle into it, as is often the case. It happens quite a bit with drivers, but and some drivers straight on the brakes and then get hit by another driver anyway. But some drivers got through it unscathed, as you say. That was a lot of curb there for Berg. He's in for a big point haul as we see the race for the amateur lead. Dara Adriansons going for yet another podium in the amateur category. He's made contact though with Tom Bingham. They're both wide, and Berg might be past the pair of them here. They almost make it 3 wide for a split second, and it is at the moment Adrianson's holding on. The BMW though should be strong down the straight. The Porsche should be weak down the straight. But can't really do anything with it though, as there's more aggressive racing from these couple of drivers. They're very tight into the chicane. This is going to really hold them up as the rest of these drivers catch up. You've got a couple of core racing drivers in there. You've got Palach as well, who's very quick, as the change for the lead, potentially Brian Kuhn going for the lead. Van der Nesse holds on to Dutchies, battling for the race win.
Yeah, double Dutch delight at the front here with Chris van der Nesse and Brian Krohn in the Porsche and the Corvette, with Kimbrough in another Porsche in third, and Adrianson's leading the AM class in fourth. So we've got a brilliant battle here for the AM class between Adrianson's, Bingham and Burke. Now Burke in the BMW did have a bit of a scrape with the wall, and he's had another problem. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. He's got more damage on the left side of the car now. He just dropped the wall coming out of the wall of champions there on the right hand side of the car. So Steve Burke drops out of that AM class battle. So now it's a head-to-head between Adrianson's and Bingham in 4th and 5th overall.
And they look really evenly matched on pace. Maybe Adrianson's with the slight pace advantage in race 1, but Bingham's looked faster so far in this race, so hopefully these guys will stay close to the end. How close is Krohn at the moment onto the back of Van der Nesse? Krohn is very quick right now for Indy Autosport. Red, Indy Autosport, I don't believe have ever won an Apex Racing League event, and they have entered a lot of Apex Racing League events in the Porsche Cup Championship and the GT Championship over the seasons. This could be breaking their duck as Krohn goes to the inside. He's got a better line than he did on the last lap. Van der Nesse, will he give this one up? Van der Nesse sticks down the inside. They almost make contact. It's a carbon copy of the last lap, and it is Van der Nesse who holds on, but I can't help but feel this is really compromising their chances of this race win, because they're battling so much. And when you've got drivers like Riedmuller, Engel, Palach, Nessov all catching you up, you cannot afford to lose tenths, let alone seconds, that these guys are losing.
No, that's absolutely spot on. Also, look out for the Kuwaiti star Burishid, who showed some really good pace at Interlagos last weekend. He's running in 6th position right now. We also got Riedmuller in 7th with a very fast 5-star motorsport Corvette. Engel in 8th. I wonder if Engel any relation to Maro Engel, the Mercedes factory driver, Dominic Engel. I wonder if there's a relation.
Because they are both Germans, aren't they? As Bingham, dearie me, he is round. Yeah, that's a good shout actually. I liked Mario Engel actually. Did he race in Formula E for a season? Mario Engel. Not quite sure.
He may well have done, but he's had a lot of success for Mercedes in GT racing.
I think he was in Formula E and he was very understated. No one really ever talks about him, but he bashed in the top 10s and yeah, had a good run for a while. So yes, that we will have to ask him. Hopefully, he wins the race. He can come for a chat with us. Albeit everyone is welcome for a chat with us, of course. If you are a driver watching this, at the moment, no current drivers are watching this because everyone went back out on circuit. Congrats, guys, because it really annoys me when drivers have the fast repair, they don't go back on circuit. We have still got 43 cars running because everyone just towed back to the pits, got the fast repair done, and are now racing their own race. And there's so many of them who got involved that they're all racing each other. So everyone's still fighting for points at the moment, albeit there is about 2 laps between the leader and the 43rd position car. I mean, dare I say some of the back markers will be going faster than the leaders because there were some heavy hitters involved in that. Kroon still battling with this one at the moment. The top 14 separated by less than 10 seconds, and that is decreasing lap after lap. So it's proper tasty right now. This one, we are 9 minutes into this 40-minute race.
Yeah, it's tasty indeed. Yeah, this has been a superb battle between Chris van den Esse and Brian Kroon. Brian Kroon in the Indy Autosport Corvette, not able to get a run on van den Esse's Porsche on the straight. A surprising speed there, but here we go. Got a good drive, very, very good drive from Brian Kroon now as they head side by side now down towards the S's. Brian Kroon got the inside, but he'll not have the switchback. He goes later on the brakes, goes very, very deep. Can he just seal the deal and close it up? He can indeed. So Brian Kroon hits the front in the Corvette.
Mighty move there from Kroon. It's so tricky to get the run through the chicane like that when you're following another driver, but he nailed it. Also in the background, you may have seen the pink Porsche of Boucherad hit the wall hard. He's got some damage, albeit he's unlucky not to have more. It is a tyre barrier, that, so it's not quite as bad. Maybe he'll be the champion, seeing it's the wall of champions. And actually, he's not doing too bad at the moment. It's Boucherad, he's not dropping back too far. I'm a little bit surprised that Nesov hasn't made more progress, to be honest, Peter. I thought he'd be taking no prisoners, but it's taking him a little while to get past Chambers, Berg and Kittelman. You remember Philip Island, he was into the lead by about minute 8. We're 10 minutes into this race, and he's only passed about 4 cars in this last 8 minutes or so, but slowly making his way up, as I think the course sim racing guys may have just come together.
Certainly one of the Engel going a little bit wide there, Dominic Engel. We don't know of a relation to Maro Engel, but certainly running very, very far near the front, so there might well be a connection there. But oh dear, big block there from one of the. Oh my word, that is really, really unlucky there for Tom Brown. Blocks getting thrown all over the place by, I think that was Palic in the Corsim Racing Corvette. That was a bit naughty in my book, Sam.
Yeah, there may have been a couple of moves, and then Brown, dipping a wheel onto the grass and nearly could have taken out a few more guys. So that's another place for Nessa. All of a sudden he's gone up to 7th place. He gained 3 places there. Quite easy, and he's got a damaged Boucherad just ahead of him now. Van den Esse held off Kim Brown. Look how Kroon, what's the gap now? Kroon's 2 seconds up the road. Van den Esse could help his compatriots to the race win right here. Shame though, sorry, what were you going to say?
Sorry, I apologise. Look at Van den Esse's rear wing. It's got damage. Yep, so he's obviously had that's really holding him back, and now that Kroon's gone by, that Kroon's gone by in the Corvette, he's just disappeared. So this is Brian Kroon's race to lose now, and this would be, if I'm not mistaken, this would be our first Corvette win of the season, which my incredibly impartial attitude, I will be completely neutral with excitement about that.
Yes.
Honest. But when my mic's closed, I'll be going, yes! Let's go, Corvette.
As the Porsches are alongside Kim Brow, up into second. No,
Oh, no.
he's been
Oh.
hit. Oh, and the wall punches him a few blows there. Now, come on, Scott, you got to get off the track now. And, he's got so much damage. He might try to get that back to the pits, but if he tows, then yeah, just tow, mate. Just tow, and then, because it'll be a real short towing zone if he tows from here. So, may as well just do that. Well, that's the nature of the chicane, isn't it? And we'll see what the stewards think of that. But dropping down there was Kim. So Kim Brow dropped down, and Vandenesse also dropped behind Adjinsons and Wiedmer, so he got a rubbish run. And so Adjinsons is up into second place. Derek Adjinsons, who really came into this championship, not someone that I thought would be fighting for the top places, but here he is, up there in second place. Wiedmuller up into third, very much under the radar, as he has been for the whole season. And Vandenesse with that damage, now battling the other damage of Boucherad. Also, Nesov has made a mistake. Nesov's down into 8th place now. He was up into 7th.
Oh, and a spin for
with
Burke.
Burke.
Spin for Burke there. Now, I wonder if he maybe got a bit of help there, Sam. It's all kicking off here at Montreal. I suspect that Steve Burke in that BMW is given a nudge, but let's have a look and see what happens. So Nezov goes by. He's there in the Porsche up ahead, and it's one of the other Indy Autosport Porsches there. They go side by side. No, I think maybe Burke actually lost it on his own, possibly. I can see.
Well, I think. I think maybe, tricky one that. Tricky one. Oh, we got 3 whites. No, it's not. No, my eyes. That is Bingham in 11th place. Battling with Kittelman and Co. These guys were so close around the hairpin, honestly. There was pretty much a 4-10 set, creating about 5 cars for a moment. Here comes a deep dive from Bulini. The DRS wave cars very quick, but haven't quite been able to show, haven't quite been able to put that into results so far this season. Besides Philip Island, when they had a few good results. Tom Brown there in 13th position, up 7 places. Brent Cook up 21 places. I wonder if we could. Sam is doing a brilliant job at the minute on the cameras. Oh no, that's Brown up ahead though. And that is down the order for Fulini. He will be gutted with that one. Cost a couple of podiums he got at Phillip Islands. That's not what he wants. Engel down the order, and it's almost exactly where Steve Burke ended up. I wonder if the cause was exactly like Steve Burke. If it calmed down for a few minutes, Peter, it's livened up again.
That it has. Now, you can see here, Nezov looking to go by here, and Dominic Engel actually just gets on the brakes as he gets onto the little bit of marbles that are starting to form on the circuit there, and he just touched a little bit too much brake pressure and locked up the brakes. Most drivers nowadays won't remember a time when, or haven't experienced a time when there weren't anti-lock brakes, but these race cars do not have them. The drivers usually get a bit better feel from not having the ABS system, but the trade-off is that if you just overcook it with the brake pressure a little bit too aggressive, the wheels will break, they will lock up, and you will skid. It's kind of like when you hit the brakes on snow, you will just kind of slide forward. So a little bit of a mistake there from Engel, but didn't appear to gather any damage, so we'll be able to recover. And at the attrition rate that we've had, as long as you can keep the damage off, you've got a chance of salvaging a result.
Yeah, keep that fast repair spare, and you're going to get to score some decent points. Wonder if we could try to find what happened to Nesov about 3 laps ago, because Nesov went from 7th down to about 10th. And that may have just cost him a chance at the race win, because Nesov was making some good progress. And now is a bit further down. He is back up into 7th place now after that, but I think lost out to Paluch in that one, as we get a replay potentially of how Paluch managed to get past. Was it actually a slowdown, perhaps? Yeah, there you go.
That just shows you how punishing it can be. Just the tiniest of mistake. And I actually think that maybe Nezov had to adjust his line there with Crimbo's Porsche stranded there on the chicane, and I think he maybe had to just adjust his line slightly, and that might have given him put him over the slowdown penalty line, perhaps. But goodness me, it's all going on here at Montreal as we see Tom Brown, a recovering Tom Brown, after being turned around at the chicane, and the final chicane. He goes by Kevin Kittleman, so into 9th overall. But at the moment, Sam, I mean, Dara Adriansons, if he can stay in that general part of the order, he'll be in line to grab a huge points advantage over his AmClass rivals, because of course they get offered the same amount of points. The points are the same. They're awarded for the overall places. So if you're an AM driver and you finish high up, you get a massive chunk.
Yeah, it's quite a steep point scoring system for those top places. Not quite as tall as like the FIA point scoring system, but compared to other certainly iRacing leagues, it is pretty tall. So if you can finish up in that top 5, then that's going to be a lot more points than even for 10th position. So yeah, that would probably put him into the championship lead after not a very good Phillip Island rally. Would have made up all those points in just a couple of meetings. Kevin Kisselman was the leader of the AMSA Championship going into this. So maybe he started from pole position. What could have been for Kisselman if he hadn't have had that issue? But still running in 10th place. He'll be quite pleased with that. He has got Daniel Lee catching up to him. However, the car behind him is a back marker. I believe that is James Crouch. He's the race one. But of course he got involved in that crash. So Crouch is like, well, I can see lapped cars further up the road. I want to catch up to them. So he's going to try to pass all the race leaders here.
Yeah, indeed. He's got a lot of work to do, as James Crouch. Very unlucky, really, to get involved in that early wreck, which claimed so many really big names, shall we say, in those stages. So not quite the repeat of race 1, it seems.
Yeah, so certainly not the round that not the race that Crouch wanted. Who is the top of the drivers' field? Toad. I feel like we almost should give prize money to those who wins that battle. I'm not quite sure.
You could vote for them for Colbek Driver of the Day.
Yep, and of course they get a medal if you do that. Colbek.co.uk/iRacing, vote for your driver of the day. And yeah, get a medal. They get a little bit of prize money as well. So that is a nice consolation for them. Matthias Beer is catching up to that's Brent Cook, who's gained so many places. Don't know how Cook got through that first lap instant. Maybe we'll get a replay of his onboard through those first few corners, because he got through all of it somehow. And he's up in 16th position at the moment. Gonzalo Cortez as well, up 24 places just behind him. So those two have done a very good job.
Yeah, Gonzalo Cortez has been remarkably impressive. Chased Tom Brown all the way to the line for the win at Interlagos 7 days ago, and shown some real flashes of pace today. Just been really unlucky to get involved in others' incidents, which can happen here at Montreal. But he's dragging this slightly wounded Corvette around very, very well and bagging some points. And of course, over such a long season, Sam, there are going to be days which don't go to plan, and it's kind of just about minimising the damage on those days. All the drivers are going to have them. None of the drivers will be able to run the perfect season.
Definitely. You're going to have some bad meetings, and with only one drop score, you need to keep them to a minimum. Newman, you got pole position in race 1. Got involved in the lap 1 wreck, I believe. Going around the outside of her, but at the moment, big slide, and he can't get that one done. Of course, the bumps are carried over from practice and qualifying and race 1 and the warm-up, so they have accumulated quite a bit now on the side of the circuit. Maybe that hurts him a bit there. He's oh dear, but into the wall.
Did Herbert get a help there?
I think he did, yeah.
From Newman. I think it was maybe Newman and Lockie Brown's around in the BMW as well. I think it's Sven Newman. It's it is Lockie Brown. Interestingly, Corsim Racing Corvettes, they're not making many friends out there at the moment, Sam.
They are, and they're being very been very neutral so far this season. They've been they've always been battling one another rather than battling anyone else. They're so evenly matched, and yeah, tonight they have had their few issues. It's real closing in for the lead right now. 7/10 of a second separates Kroon and Riedmüller. If you remember, 10 minutes into this race, Kroon was way out in the lead. I mean, he built up about a 4-second lead at its max. There it is, 5.5 seconds it was at least over Riedmüller, maybe not to second place, but to Riedmüller it was 5.5 seconds, and maybe even extending, you can see on lap 10, to about 6 seconds. But, oh, so actually it was a mistake, wasn't it, from Kroon? Because that lap 13, the gap went from about 5 seconds to just 1 second, so he must have got a slowdown. So actually, Kroon might have the pace to defend this one, but shows how tricky it is to hold on here at Montreal. Possibly the most tricky circuit to keep your cool on because of the walls and because of the slowdowns. It's so tricky to keep error free for a whole 40 minutes.
It is indeed, yeah, exactly. Especially when, of course, the drivers will be a little bit mentally fatigued by this point in the day because they'll have done a lot of practice leading up to it. They have a long practice session before they go into qualifying. Then they have the qualifying and then a 20-minute sprint race. Sorry, 20-minute sprint race. So it's, yeah, I would think by now they're starting to get a little bit tired and easy for those mistakes to creep in. Now, a little bit of a Dutch language pronunciation lesson for you, Sam. Double O in Dutch language is pronounced, or we would pronounce it oo, but in Dutch it's O, so it's like two O's stuck together, if you like. So it's Brian Kroon.
I did see the message in the YouTube chat, and I think I got it right once, and then I forgot. And I've got it wrong, but I will try that. I will try to improve that. Stephen Broomfield, I don't call him Stephen Brunfield anymore. I've learned on that one. But yes, Brian Kroon, I still need to improve on. Matteo Puglini's up into 11th place. He's had his setbacks, but the Italian into 11th ahead of Kevin Kitzelman now. Gap for the lead. Ooh, there's a mistake from Riedmüller. Riedmüller's made quite a big mistake. He's got to slow down.
Slow down.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, one slow down each then. I don't think Kroon can... wow, that could have just given up the race win there because Nessov's catching up. Adjansons isn't slowing Kroon with a decent margin now. Oh my goodness, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm being mean. Sorry.
No, you're being right.
I'm very sorry. So, while this has all been going on, Alexei Nezov, well, he has been on a bit of a charge, and well, like we said, we really should never write this man off. He is incredibly impressive at the wheel of this Urano Esports 911 RSR, and up to 5th now, and tell you what, Sam, with 15 minutes to go, I would not write off a Nezov win here.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been, say, impressed by his pace tonight. At Phillip Island and Interlagos, he was, like, by far, not by far the quickest driver, but he was the quickest driver. I mean, there's no Bartolozzi out here tonight either, so I thought he would catch up to these guys a bit quicker. On that last lap, he actually was 4/10 slower than Riedmüller. So I'm not sure if he's got the pace advantage. He's 7.5 seconds off the lead. If they start fighting ahead, then I think he might catch up. But if I don't see him passing Boucherad, Adjansons, Riedmüller and Kroon by the end of the race.
Well, we shall wait and see. So Tom Brown got a lot of company here from Chris Van Den Esse, former leader, of course, and Fellini in the number 110 Porsche. So Tom Brown appears to be carrying a little bit more damage again on the front of that Ferrari. So the shiny red, scarlet red paintwork has been scuffed a little bit, unfortunately. Now, Van Den Esse's got big problems with Fellini trying to hook it around the outside, but Fellini has to give up for now. But is he going to go for the counter move? Van Den Esse covers it off briefly on the brake. Ooh, goodness me! Hard to keep your cool. Yes, even harder to keep your cool as Pulini taking on the Dane Baird tactics of liberal use of the headlight flasher.
Yep, he's got that button stick down right now, and it's seemingly working for him. Vandenesse got a decent run, but Pulini's faster down the straight, and he's gonna be past. I know, I love this circuit, but for racing, some of these chicanes are god awful. Because you cannot go side by side, and Pulini's up into 10th place. Brown will be tricky to catch, albeit Brown does have damage, as you alluded to earlier on. And Vandenesse might have a tough time keeping Kittelman and Beer, who we know is very quick. Bingham, Engel we know is quick. Cortez is quick. Piazza is quick. So he'll have a tough time keeping those guys behind. Actually, a few of them are back markers, of course, after the big wreck that we had on the first lap. If you haven't seen it, you can watch that now. And then come back to live pictures, because it was a big one. Not quite Apex Racing League Prototype Championship at Monza, but I think the second biggest pile-up we've had this season, so that's not bad.
Been pile-up weekend, obviously. It is the week of the Daytona 500. Maybe everyone's trying to copy the big one, obviously.
I think both of these drivers have just got a slowdown. They seem to both cut the chicane, so I feel like they're going to be going very slowly. Oh, maybe they're alright. Holland with a damaged car, already used his fast repair though, I think, and he now gets overtaken by the Austrian Edon Polovina. There goes Polovina up into 26. Uh-oh, Dean Powell.
Oh no, and he scratched the Colbek. Sponsorship logos as well. That's not on, and that shiny spec map is not so shiny as it was before. Dean.
It's he scratched it a few times this season, and that's no offense, Dean, but he's been in the wars. But 29 again, considering he started from the pits in race 1, he started from the pits in this race as well. 29 is not bad for the Colbek driver, trying to accumulate points for this too, but Daniel Lee scoring some decent points in both race 1 and race 2 at the moment. But that rear wing has seen better days. I am curious who's the top driver who take back to the pits. The problem is everyone's so spread out, there's not a clear divide. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It might be Sven Neiman. There goes Steve Burke. He's passed David Gowrie. These guys are totally by themselves. Not even back markers are near them. But that is Burke recovering a position. But Gowrie might be coming back, going into the chicane.
Yeah, we can see Gowrie just popping out from behind Steve Burke, but Steve Burke's BMW M8 still got some good pace there in a straight line. So although he's had a couple of little mistakes, he's not incurred too much damage. Certainly none that's holding him back right now. But I have to say, driver of the day for me so far has got to be Dara Adrianson, because he is battling toe to toe with the front of the pro class, but he's in the AM class. His nearest adversary in class is Kevin Kittelman in 12th, Tom Bingham in now 16th. So he's punching so far above his class weight, and this is going to bag him a really pivotal chunk of points for the AM class championship. As we see, he's going to lose one to Burashed, probably will to Nezov as well, but not really. Doesn't really need to worry about that too much. He's still going to be in line for a huge pile of points.
Here comes Nestor. That was out of nowhere. That's a good move. I mean, it could have gone very badly, but it's gone well, so we call it a good move. Oh no, what's who is that? That's a couple of backmarks. That's one of the Indy Autosports cars who has Holland and was it Powell? I think it was Powell.
Oh, it's a BMW, so it's I'm not sure. Tom Collins.
Okay. So that's Collins, who's a lap down on Holland. So that was the Tom
Collins cocktail. Am I getting mixed up?
I'm not sure.
It's ringing a bell. It's obviously I think it's a name quite close to that. Imagine having a cocktail named after yourself. You get Arnold Palmer is another one.
Sam Fitzpatrick cocktail.
What would that
I'm not sure
include,
he'll
Sam?
kick on. Gasoline?
Just gas, just pure gasoline.
Just that, and maybe like
consume.
an umbrella. A big umbrella.
Gasoline to drink.
Yeah, sure. In moderation, eh? That's what they say, isn't it? Everything in moderation.
Yeah, well, they can take the boy out in Norfolk.
Yeah.
So, we are back at the sharp end of the field, and this is all of a sudden the battle for the podium. Dar Adrianson says cleverly he's backed off, and he's let these guys go. Alexei Nezov now putting a lot of pressure on Burashev now, so you have to think that Nezov maybe got the slight advantage in pace. Of course, both running the same car, but the setups will be slightly different, and Nezov very, very quick, as he's proven. And there he goes straight away, sells the dummy, up the inside he goes. Burashev goes, okay, and just loses.
Yep, third position. That's a nice bit of points. He's 6 seconds off the lead with 6 minutes to go. He's lapping about half a second a lap faster than Crane. So that would get him within probably about 3 seconds by the end of Crane. If he keeps this pace up though, he should catch up to Wiedmüller. I mean, Wiedmüller's not going to be far off Crane at the end either, so this could be a very climactic end. One slowdown for Crane, and he's going to lose this race. He's got to keep it within the limits, along with, of course, keeping up a very good pace as well. Anyone on the chat, I think everyone from Indy Autosports are out on circuit anyway, but if anyone from Indy Autosports is watching along, and any statisticians from Apex Racing League GT are listening along, let me know if Indy Autosport have ever won a race in this championship. I don't believe they ever have. They have, they're probably loads of amateur wins, but not the overall win. So this would be a big deal for them if they could achieve that one. But on that last lap, Crone loses 9/10 to the 2 cars behind.
Well, the plot thickens then here at Montreal. Brian Crone, he will be nervously looking at that clock. He'll have a countdown now, just coming up to 5 minutes to go. So just a few more clean laps, and he should have this win sealed up. But Wiedmüller's going to throw everything at it, and of course, doing so, Sam, pushing over the edge, will of course put him more at risk of incurring a slowdown penalty on the chicanes, etc. But I do interrupt this broadcast with some absolutely wonderful news, Sam. The Tom Collins is a cocktail. In fact, it was first memorialised in writing in 1876 by Jerry Thomas, and it is gin, lemon juice, sugar, and carbonated water. Sounds very refreshing.
Take. Well, hopefully Tom Collins will have a chat with us. I'm sure he will know that.
I'm drinking one right now.
Yeah, maybe that's why he drinks before the race, or after the race, probably I would suggest. But yeah, I don't think he will have a chat with us. Collins, remember, one place outside of the reverse grid places. I'm sure there's if only he had got reverse grid pole, and I think his car would be looking like that right now. Busheraz just got back past Nessov. Nessov's got another slowdown, I think. Silly Nessov. He's done that a couple of times. And Busheraz back up into the podium places. He would be our first, and this is quite a shock. He would be our first Kuwaiti podium sitter in Apex Racing League history. And a real surprise there. But it would be a very good result for him. In his debut season, he had also a very good result at Interlagos, of course.
Indeed, no, it's absolutely fantastic to have Nazar Burashev with us in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. And isn't it fantastic to see him running the Pink Pig livery as well? An iconic Porsche livery, first seen on the Porsche 917 Le Mans car. That particular car wasn't actually very successful, but when they brought the livery back for Porsche's 70th anniversary at Le Mans in 2018, the car went on to win in the GTE Pro class with Kevin Estre, Michael Christensen, and Lawrence Vantor. My apologies. Those three won in quite convincing fashion as well, and and it was in this very car as well, the RSR 17.
Yeah, that must have been one of the most hyped up liveries that at least I recall hearing about. Oh, Fulini's had a bit of an off. Oh no! But yeah, that Porsche livery is lovely out there. So that was with the back marker, I think. Drivers are coming across. That was Derek Holland. Apologies, David Holland's F3 driver. Wait, which one? Derek Holland. There you go. Yeah, Derek Holland was the driver who went off the circuit. So that is a shame for Fulini because yeah, that was a back marker there. But after that first lap wreck, we have seen back markers very prominent in this race. Kitzelman with a drive-through, I imagine. No, that's it. That's it for Kevin Kitzelman. Oh no. Well, championship leader, and he should still score points. I think he's done enough laps to score points. But that is gut-wrenching for Kevin Kitzelman. Something must be happening in the real world there. Thought he may have a penalty for too many incidents, but seemingly, yeah, having to step away, and that is probably the amateur championship lead gone.
Well, it certainly will take a big dent, that's for sure, with Dara Adrianson set to gain 5th place overall points, which will be huge for the AM Class Championship, and it's been thoroughly deserved because the thing is, Dara's had to do this amongst the really quite brutal sharp end of the pro field. The pro drivers, they waste no time, they can't. They have to be flat out everywhere, and being in the middle of that storm is can be quite daunting, but Dara has not let that bother him whatsoever, and he thoroughly deserves that big chunk of points that he's in line to take. As we come up, I would imagine we will be getting the white flag now, so 1 lap to go here at yes, it will be. This will be the last lap for Brian Crone.
Yeah, I think we'll miss out on another one by about 10 seconds or so.
Now Sam, sorry, Mark Hutchison says, sorry to be an anorak, but was it not 2019 that they won with the Pink Pig? No, it was 2018, 70th anniversary of Porsche. I respect the anorakness because I am a proper stamp collecting, train spotting anorak when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, in other words, Mark Hutchison, mind your own business. Leave.
That wasn't what I said.
Peter knows this stuff. Do not doubt Peter's knowledge. So here comes Crane. We've got 50. sorry. It's the Scottish accent. I just think that everything you say is more aggressive than it is. Brian Crane is coming to the line. That is the time elapsed. And Indy Autosport, who have been knocking on the door for an overall race victory for seasons in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Well, Brian Crone is finally going to achieve it for them. He wins race 2 at Montreal. Brian Crone is your race winner. Max Wiedmuller with a good 2nd place. Oh, a slowdown for Buscherad. And Kuwait cries as their young boy denies the podium. Don't know what I was saying there. Nessel finishes on the podium. Miraculous for Nessel there, and he might even extend his championship lead after starting from the pits in race 1. Brown finishes in 9th place. Bia a very close 10th. Ulini and Chris Van der Nesse finishing in 11th and 12th. They're so close behind, and they're still all the drivers who came into the pits after that first lap wreck, who will be crossing the line over the next few moments, but up and down the order. Well, I was a bit concerned early on in that race, Peter, that the collision that we had on the first lap would kind of thin out the order and we'd be lacking action in race 2. Anything but. That fight for the win in race 3, really great because it was very unpredictable. I honestly didn't think that Brian Crone would have nearly enough pace to hang on to the lead, and yet there he is. The slowdown cost him a little bit, but besides that, he made it look quite easy.
Yeah, he thoroughly deserves it, and of course confirms a 1-2 for Corvette, followed by 5 Porsches. So really strong performance. Alexei Nezov getting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:31.35, Brian Krohn's best pace was 131.9. Max Riedmuller in second, 131.7. So yeah, Brian Krohn, he's definitely won that race on merit, that's for sure.
Yeah, brilliant work from Krohn. Started in 6th place as well, and finishes at the top for the first time in his Apex Racing League career. It's not been a very long one, to be fair. He did a couple of rounds of the Porsche Cup Championship last season, and then, of course, the opening few rounds of this. So congrats to him. The Dutch driver takes the spoils. Max Riedmuller was in 2nd place. Then Alexei Nesov finishing in 3rd place. Nasser Busharad in 4th. There's Derek Adjinson's a mighty performance for the amateur driver. Then it was Matty Chambers, Danny Lee, Mick Paluch, Tom Brown, scoring quite a few points actually tonight, Brown, and Mateus Beer. There's Matteo Fulini, Chris Van Der Nesse, Gonzalo Cortez, Denny Piazza, Tom Bingham, Dominic Engel, Stephen Broomfield, Brent Cook, Steve Burke, and David Gary was in the top 20. Then it was Sven Neiman, Edon Polovina, EJ Nixon, Lockie Brown, Dean Powell, James Crouch, race 1 winner of course, Anton Gaul-Metzer, Scott Kimbrough, Aaron Herbert, Nicholas Laubish, Scott Vista, Chris Prescott, Marco Tolman, Daniel Sykes, Andrew Collins-Reed, Jan Kerneth, Ronald Grossman, and then it was Tom Collins, Kevin Kisselman, Derek Holland, Dave Chadwick, Fabian Alpers, Troy Ricucci, and Maximilian Fritz. Only the bottom 6 didn't finish the race. In fact, Kittelman doesn't score any points. He was 3 laps down. Wow. So Kittelman gets absolutely nothing, even if he just scored points for finishing in 39. That would still be 12 points for his total, but he doesn't even get that. So yeah, I'm curious as to what happened to Kevin there, because that could be important come the end of the season. We're going to have a chat with a few of our drivers, and there's only one man because it's Matty Chambers at the moment in the waiting here, so we're not going to chat to him. But we are going to have a chat to our race 2 winner, Brian Krohn, who, Brian, I believe that is Indy Autosport's first race win in this championship. Considering how many races they've entered, this is quite a big moment. Congratulations.
Thanks. I didn't know it was the first one for Apex, so. But yeah, it was a good race. Had some luck with Max having a slowdown since I had him at first, but yeah, tried to drive as steadily as possible, and it worked out. Yeah.
When did you think the race win was possible? Did you think you could sneak it at the start of the race, or was it later on in the race where you kind of thought, I might do this?
No, in the first race I didn't have the pace to follow the lead, but in the second race, since I started at 6th, I think, and went up into 3rd or 4th after the first corner. Yeah, I thought I could do it. No hurt in trying. So since the first moment, since the first corner, I thought I could do it, and it worked. So yeah.
Who did you feel like it was your main rival there? I mean, what was it? Was all your attention placed on Max, or were you also a bit concerned that Alexei might catch you up?
Yeah, I heard that Alexei was driving some fast laps, but he didn't show up in my relative, so I figured out just focus on Max, to keep him off at least for more than 2 seconds. But he drove fast, he drove consistent, he at the last point he nearly caught up to me, so my vision was on Max at least.
Definitely. Is this a circuit that historically you've enjoyed some success at? Is this one that you really enjoy?
No, I think it's really the first track that I've ever driven in iRacing. And at first I didn't like it, but it has grown to me. And as you see, I'm kind of, I'm good at the track right now. So, yeah.
And now that you got the race win under your belt, what's next? What's the next goal for the rest of the season? Are you aiming for a certain place in the championship, or are you just looking for more race wins now?
No, I've just my first race wasn't that good, I finished quite far at the back. The second race was better, but so there's a progressive line in it. But I'm just trying to finish as best as I can. There are a lot of fast drivers here that I can't compete with yet. So yeah, we'll see it race by race.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us. Brian, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, a shout out to my girlfriend who I heard shouting downstairs for me winning. Apex for supporting me, and everyone watching. Thank you guys for watching. It was a fun race, I think.
Yeah, absolutely was. Thanks for having a chat with us, Brian. And yeah, hope to see you back next week.
Yeah, thank you. Next week.
Brian Kroon there, your race 2 winner. And like I said, I might be wrong, but I believe it is Indie Autosport's first ever race win in this championship. Peter, who would you like to have a chat with now?
Well, I think I'd quite like to chat to Matty Chambers, because I'd like I'd like to give him a slightly more pleasurable experience of being in the Apex Racing League commentary box, Sam, because you seem to just give him nothing but abuse.
Absolute waste of time. Everyone may as well turn off for a few minutes now.
Well, we can mute you, Sam. Matty, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box. Now, I know you didn't get a very generous reception from my colleague last time out, so I'm going to try and give you a better one. How did you enjoy that day out at Montreal today?
Yeah, I loved it. I love that track anyway. So the first race was a bit procession, felt a bit Monaco-like. It's tough to make moves, but I felt I was in a decent position and was happy to just sort of hold where I was. Second race, I didn't obviously you all saw it on the stream, the carnage. I managed to just watch the replay back then, and it was a miracle that I just sort of peeled my way through a little gap. But I was inches away from getting caught in amongst all that.
Well, that was a lucky one, because it took up a huge number of the field. I mean, we know the attrition rate is usually pretty high at Montreal. Did you manage to get through the majority of the races without too much damage on the car?
Yeah, I don't think I clipped any walls at all. I don't think. I did a couple of the official races this week, and something I took away from it was just basically take a sort of 10% off in the race, because the amount of times it's so easy to clip a wall, and then it's sort of it just gets worse and worse. So then you're understeering more and you're hitting the wall more, and to the point where your car's totaled.
That sounds very wise indeed. Now, finally, you've gone with the Porsche 911 RSR for this season of VRL GT. There's quite a wide selection of cars you can use. They all have their own attributes. You've got the big BMW, you've got the Ferrari that seems to be going well, the Corvette. What was your thinking of choosing the Porsche over the others?
Familiarity, I guess. I've tried other cars, and sometimes I'm quicker in them, but over a whole race, I've raced the Porsche in every GT series so far, and I know how it behaves a lot better than the others now. So although it's not the quickest in some tracks, I just prefer the way it feels for just being able to race. I tried a different car once. I tried the Ford for a race, but I didn't like it.
So it's like the Porsche. It's like a pair of comfy slippers. This feels right. Matty, before we let you go, who would you like to give a shout out to here on Apex Racing TV?
So all the EVA guys, as usual. Big shout out to James as well for winning race 1. I know he had a terrible race 2. He got caught in amongst that carnage, but yeah, big shout out to James Crouch for taking his first win. And I guess you guys as well do a good job. Although Sam's debatable.
Get out of here.
Well, thank you for the kind words anyway, Matty, and looking forward to chatting again very soon.
Yeah, cheers for that.
So it's a nice opportunity to have a nap. Thanks
You're a horrible person, Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. Thanks to our sponsors, by the way, or another one of our sponsors at least, SDK Gaming, who provide our lovely overlay. And you can get yourself a very similar overlay, which is absolutely necessary for broadcasting, streaming, and also a great heads-up display as well. So if you go to sdkgaming.com, you can get yourself a 14-day free trial, get all the access to all the functionalities of SDK Gaming, and yeah, they much recommend it. We will have a chat with another driver, but which driver is the question? We'll have a chat with Alexei Nesov, who managed to salvage a 3rd position in race 2. But your race 1 was also very entertaining, Alexei. Talk us through that race 1, because it was going to be a challenge from the pit lane. Were you a bit annoyed that you didn't quite get up into 21st and reverse grid pole?
Yeah, I actually didn't even know how much drivers would be reversed, and I thought that it would be like 15, 16 on the previous races. But yeah, when I saw that it would be 21, yeah, I thought, yeah. But anyway, at least I got the eventful race, but race 1, yeah, was pretty bad. A few drivers were driving very dangerously, and we got some incidents. Yeah, that's why I couldn't fight into the top 20. But yeah, second race went better. I managed to survive through the start cornage, and yeah, then I was at a good pace. Unfortunately, got some slowdowns, which probably put me off the fight for the win this race. But anyways, I'm happy with it.
Looked like the Porsche wasn't as competitive in this round as it was at like Phillip Island. Was this a weak circuit for the Porsche, you think?
No, definitely not, because the curbs are so bad with the Porsche, and especially on this track, this is a very important thing. And I think Corvette and Ferrari would be like the better choice for this track.
And yeah, in that race too, how was the battling with drives? It looked tricky out there to overtake. I mean, what was it tricky to overtake, or did you find it pretty easy after a while?
Some drivers were letting me by like easily, some others were not. So I had to fight with them. But yeah, I don't even remember who I fight with, which way. But yeah. In general, I was trying to be careful, but at the same time aggressive, and so it worked out.
And in the next round, we have Motegi. Have you driven much around that circuit in these cars?
Yeah, I was driving IMSA in the previous season in this track, and I was pretty fast there, so I'm really looking forward to it. I like Motegi very much, so good track, so disappointed that it's not so popular, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations out there, Alex. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thank you guys for the race. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Awesome. See you then, Alexei.
Bye-bye.
Alexei Nesov there for Urane Esports. Another interview, Peter. Who do you want to have a chat with now?
Oh, I think I'll... how about Nicholas Laubish, Alexei's teammate, and see what he has to say. It's kind of an up and down day. Nicholas, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box. A kind of tale of two halves there for you. Tell us about your day at Montreal from your view.
Oh no, let's not talk about the qualifying. I got 3 times 0 contact on the wall there, on the wall of champions, and therefore I had to start from the back. It was a nice race though, even though I got damage, a very big damage in the second lap, I guess, in the hairpin. Still, it was a nice race. I think I got through clean there. We had some smaller impacts with other cars there, but I think everybody stayed as clean as possible. And especially the last lap, we had a very big and very nice battle there. For the second race, yeah. I thought I could maybe get even a podium in that race there, but after the second corner the race ended pretty fast for me. The guy next to me, I guess, didn't really had traction control on or something and just went into me, and then the big one happened. Yeah, I didn't stop spinning for like 20 seconds or so. That wasn't so nice, but then I still tried to gain some other positions and made it to lap 229s afterwards. So it was fun to drive, but still not the best race I had so far.
It certainly was. It was a tough day for a lot of guys out there, but I guess heading to Motegi next time out, you must be pretty happy with your pace. I mean, when things run clean, you guys are really quick.
Yeah, the Porsche is just by far my favorite car here. But even though the Ferrari is way better on every curb here, but Porsche is love for me, especially in Motegi. I think it should be faster than everybody else. At least it was like that when it was in the official series in iRacing. So I guess we are already pretty good prepared for that. Our setups work on nearly every track so far. And we'll see, it probably will also be a very interesting race, but hopefully we will make it further without the incident this time then.
Well, let's hope so. Certainly a lot more room at at Motegi if there is any pile-ups. Nicholas, before we let you go, who would you like to say hello to here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, of course, thanks to Rano, thanks to Luxy, we trained a bit beforehand, and thanks to our sponsors, of course, Huawei, HP, HKM, and of course, Urano.
Well, thank you very much, Nicholas. Good luck next time out at Motegi, and we'll speak soon.
Nicholas Laubish there with a 9th place and a 29th place. Last interview, we've got to have a chat with him. It's Daniel Lee. Apologies, Daniel. Someone dragged in Matty Chambers early on, so that's why you're a bit why you're a little bit late. Not sure why we did that, but third and seventh tonight. That was very low key, I would say. You'll be disappointed on the broadcast. We didn't see a whole lot of you out there, but first race 1. You kind of just went from 7th to 3rd in one sweep, really. You really took advantage of everything that was going on around you.
Yeah, race 1 was really good and clean. It felt like the kind of race which race 1 usually is. You know, everybody settles into their order. They're in the grid where they're supposed to be, and it's about who makes the mistakes. Beer and Cortez tangled. Fellini sort of skipped over me in the chaos that ensued. I came off without a scratch, and so did Fellini, but then I had him to overtake again. Was running quite low wing here, considering, and that was purely to make sure that I didn't get left behind by the Corvettes and the Ferraris, which were rapid here. And that meant that Porsche on Porsche, if you're running less wing, you're going to be able to attack really well. So at one point, that's all that happened. Got close enough to Fellini on the back straight, and there wasn't much you could really do. Other than that, super clean race 1.
And then race 2, how did you get through the pile-up? Surely you were in the heart of it, weren't you?
Yeah, that's one that probably is only best explained by watching it from on board my own stream. Really speaking, I should not have come out that without looking like a cube. I don't know what happened, call it iRacing netcode, but people just came steaming in so fast. I think it just didn't realise that they were going to hit me at all. They were going so fast they basically passed through me, which don't look very good when you're trying to suspend your disbelief. But that just meant that I came out at the end of it. Having negotiated the logjam, I came out of it basically where I started on the grid, except that now you had a few fast people that weren't in contention anymore. They had to go and get the fast repairs. From there, it was just a big 40-minute fight. Really enjoyed it, loved it. Some good passes on there. Almost got Chambers right at the end, but I made a mistake and went sailing over the grass and had to take a slowdown. So fun all round, but that second race crash was one that we should probably not replicate.
Yes, I think that's a good plan. Is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to?
Thanks to you guys for the broadcast and commentary. You do a great job. Thanks to wife Claire for being the best support you could ask for. Everybody that sort of tags along on my stream, thanks for watching along and chatting. I will sort out a chat one day so I can actually talk back. But otherwise, thanks to Colbek Systems for sponsoring. Obviously, go and check out the Driver of the Day vote at colbek.co.uk/iRacing. If there's anything on that page you want to speak to somebody about, just pop a message in via the form, or you can speak to me directly. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Daniel Lee, there your 3rd place and 7th place finisher tonight. I believe the 2nd highest point scorer tonight, or maybe 3rd, something like that anyway. But good job from Daniel. Next up, Peter, we have got Motegi, like I said earlier on. That is a circuit that we don't visit too much on Apex Racing TV. It's not one of my favourites. Fortunately, we're not there at night at least. But has been, in my experience at least, a real good race circuit. I don't think it's the best circuit to drive at, but it's nice and wide. You can go side by side to the middle part of the track a lot. So I think it will be quite a welcome change compared to this half street circuit here at Montreal.
I think it will. Yes, it's a little different. Of course, it's quite familiar to MotoGP fans. Of course, every year the Japanese Moto Grand Prix is held at Motegi, and in fact there they have to fit much larger brakes to the bikes because the braking, it's very, very hard on braking. So the drivers who've really got their setups nailed for gaining time on the brakes will really benefit, I think. And also having those really long straights into very, very deep braking zones is going to give some superb opportunities for overtaking. So I think, like you say, it's probably more fun for us watching than those driving, perhaps. But I think it's going to be one to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, hopefully the order stays just as competitive as it was tonight, because we did really see some great racing. Once again, big thanks to all of our sponsors: Apex Racing Academy, SDK Gaming. Also Virtual Racing School. We don't think we mentioned Virtual Racing School, but they've got 40 data packs. Also on the oval side, not just the road side of things. Once again, coaches from some of the best drivers in the iRacing world. Fantastic telemetry as well. So check out Virtual Racing School for all of that if you want to improve your driver performance. And also, of course, thanks to Colbek. And obviously you can check out colbek.co.uk/iRacing in order to vote for your driver of the day. It's been very competitive so far, so make sure you get your votes in. There's a little prize for the winner for each round, so thoroughly recommend checking out Colbek and the services that they provide as well. If you've enjoyed this stream, please do leave a like on this video. Also subscribe to Apex Racing TV because we've got 20 odd other broadcasts going on every single week at the moment. And of course, check out our Twitch channel. If you've been watching on Twitch, thank you very much. Subscribe or follow us, whatever you do on Twitch. And if you're not on Twitch, watching on YouTube, check out our Twitch channel, and then follow that. And you can see all of our broadcasts coming up. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Peter Mackay, and from Sam Kuma, it is a first race win for Indy Autosport. Can they keep it up at Motegi next week? We'll see you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.